Oh, well, hello, or top of the morning to you. Dr. James Naismith here in Springfield, Massachusetts, that is. I am athletic director here at the YMCA training school. Oh, sorry. As I was saying, you know it gets pretty cold up here in the winter. So last year, in 1891, the school Christian workers asked me to come up with a new sport for their students so they could play indoors, and it's not too large of a space either. So here's what I thought. I thought it'd be a good idea if I came up with something that would require developing skills rather than a game of just strength. You know, I had 2 weeks to come up with something, but it wasn't until the last night when it all came to me. I remember about 20-some years ago that when I was a child growing up in Ontario, Canada, that we had a game called Duck on a Rock outside our little one-room schoolhouse. The idea was to knock the duck off a large rock by throwing another rock at it. Well, throwing rocks was probably not a good idea for a game at a Christian school, although there was a great story in the Bible about that, but we'll get that to later. So I came up with a better idea. I took a peach basket and hung it up at one side of the gym, and it was about 10 feet high, and did the same on the other side. But there was also 2 teams with 9 players each. The idea was to throw a soccer ball from one player to the next. As I was saying, the idea was to throw a soccer ball from one player to the next until you were able to have someone toss it in the basket. You couldn't move once you had the ball, so getting it to the other end was pretty tricky. Now, once a team made a basket, there'd be someone on the ladder to take the ball and toss it back out, where there would be a jump ball right in the middle of the court. Sometimes the ball would end up out of bounds. In that case, the first person to retrieve the ball would get the possession. The first game was played on December 15th, 1891. A month later, I developed 13 rules of basketball. Rule number 1 of my basketball: the ball may be thrown in any direction with one or both hands. Rule number 2, the ball may be batted in any direction with one or both hands, but never with a fist. Rule number 3, a player cannot run with the ball. A player must throw it from the spot in which he catches it. Now rule number 4 was, the ball must be held by the hands, the arms or the body not to be used for holding it. Rule number 5 was, no shouldering, holding, pushing, striking, or tripping in any way of an opponent. Rule number 8, a goal should be made when the ball is thrown or batted from the grounds into the basket and stays there. You know, I had a visitor from the future just the other day. Maybe you know him. Here's a picture of him. Anyway, he told me that 12 of those rules are pretty much the same in your version of basketball. He also brought me some pictures of how the game has really gotten popular. He said it's a big money-making spectator sport. Take a look. If I don't know what I created, I would have certainly asked for more money.